Have I told you about the Nintendo 3DS? Well, crap, we're back at my desk. What could that mean? I'm remaking this garbage video that I made about, I don't know, a couple months ago. Anyway, I hate that video. Don't watch it. So I'm gonna remake it right here and right now. With that said, this is my custom modded 3DS tour. Part 2 edition, updated, because again, I hate that video. Do not watch it. Watch this one instead. Jumping right into it. I got this guy a while ago. I want to say maybe around 4 months now, 5 months, something like that. More like 4 months. And I love this thing. This is my absolute favorite console. It's what I take with me pretty much everywhere nowadays, at least whether it be just out and about or I don't really know. Just again, it's just my throw it in a bag and play it later console. Because it's got literally everything on it. You got GBA, DS, 3DS, got all the consoles that I could literally want. But without further ado, let's get into it. So, this is the Super Nintendo edition of the 3DS. I don't remember why this one came out. It must have been for some SNES thing. I don't know. If I remember to, I'll probably just put it up on screen or probably the description. So, if you want more information on that. And it's because of how I have my camera set currently. But these are like purple, have like purple switches. Well, not real switches, obviously, but. Yeah, so this camera's not really doing it justice, but again, love this console, looks cool, and also it's great for modding. With that said, let's hop right into it, shall we? So, first things first, and what anyone will notice, is the custom themes. Custom themes, I am a complete sucker for. I love themes. I've bought plenty of themes on my 2DS, my unmodded console, on my 2DS XL, the new 2DS XL. I've bought way too many themes that I only use like 2, sometimes 3. And let me just say though, being able to create, download, and just use a bunch of community-made themes is awesome. I love this specific one. This is a Virbank City Pokemon theme that I got a while ago. And Pokemon Black 2 is like one of my, if not my favorite game of all time. Hence why I have White version 2 in here as well. I got Black version 2 in my other DS because I own way too many DS. In fact, maybe I'll do a video on that one day because I own quite literally like 5 or 6 different Nintendo DS because, I don't know, it's like my favorite console, so why not? Anyway, getting right into it. Most of these have been ripped from either a cartridge or have been gotten from a virtual console or have been made into a virtual console game via a application called SNES VC Injector, something like that. Feature me. Put it like right there. Yeah, right here. Epic. Thanks me. With that said, we have not too many games, at least from the last video, that I don't recommend. No, I'm done with that bit. But yeah, there are a handful of different changes that I've made. Specifically, I've gotten rid of some of the games that I just don't really see myself playing that much, as well as put on some games that I do play a lot. So with that said, let's get right into it. So of course, we got the staples of the 3DS Mario games, Mario 3D Land and Mario Bros. 2. They're fine. It's your basic Mario 3D and 2D platformers. It's perfect for just pick up, play, and in, I don't know, like a crowded restaurant or something, or in a cafe, or like in a Starbucks or something if you're just waiting. So definitely 2 good games to go back to. Both Pokemon Red and Blue versions, I believe these were legitimately purchased. Don't tell Nintendo. But I believe these were legitimately purchased back in the day. I did buy the second hand off of a buddy of mine when I was visiting, and I was not told. So I guess we'll never freaking know. So moving on, we also have the Donkey Kong Countries. These games are very fun, as well as Mario Kart 7 and CTGP 7. CTGP is a custom Mario Kart just overhaul mod, basically. No new characters, my bad. New courses, new music, as well as a bunch of different courses. In fact, why not? I'll go into detail on it right now. I'll open it right now. Haven't played this in a while though, so it's probably gonna need to probably download some update. I don't know. So I feel like every time I want to play a game that has been released past the 8th generation of consoles, I always have to update something. It is always something. This is why the DS is supreme. Change my mind. Anyway, moving on. This is CTGP7. And again, I'm not going to spend too long on here because, well, last time I checked, this is a modded 3DS tour, not a Mario Kart CTGP7 review. But I will go ahead and I will go through some of the courses. And here we are, the course selection. So, of course, you got your basic 8 cups, each with 4. These are just the vanillas. But if we hit these shoulder buttons, we have access to so many freaking cups. Like, holy crap. There are so many, including friggin' Crash Nitro Kart courses. That's awesome. And let me just say, like, the developers for CTGP went above and beyond with all these courses. Even Secret Slide from Mario Kart 64. The level's not even that good, but it's just awesome. So, if you do have a modded 3DS, or even a modded DS, I do highly recommend giving this a go because there is a DS and even a Wii version that I highly recommend checking out. This game is awesome, and also is community made, which kind of gives it that level of charming as well. So, moving on to, oh, and I forgot to mention, you also do need a legit copy of Mario Kart 7 to play as well. So, anyway, that is that. Moving on, we have Shovel Knight Treasure Trove. I personally love this game. I had to go ahead and get the update file online, don't tell Nintendo, and I highly recommend it. Super fun, and one of my, if not my favorite indie platformer, not including Sonic Mania, especially on the 3DS. Moving on, we also have Luigi's Mansion, Pilot Wings Resorts, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, SMT4 Apocalypse, Animal Crossing, Pokemon Rumble Blast. I have a soft spot for the Pokemon Rumble series. It's fine. Again, it's not the most in-depth Pokemon game, but for a little spin-off on the 3DS, especially for how old it is, it's really fun. I recommend. Ultimate NES Remix, Minecraft, PQ, PQ2, Terraria, as well as a bunch of Pokemon games. Pretty much every major Pokemon game up until Ultra Sun and Moon are here, including Pokemon Delta Emerald, which is a ROM hack of Pokemon Emerald version, which it's pretty fun. I again recommend if you want to play. Not necessarily a must play, but if you're looking for a new kind of twist on a Pokemon, on a 3rd gen Pokemon game, I recommend it. As well as a couple of DS games, which we'll come back to how to put DS games on here in a second, but I want to go back here and show off some of the SNES virtual consoles, such as Super Mario and Super Mario All-Stars plus Mario World. This, in my opinion, is the definitive way of playing the original Mario Brothers and Lost Levels and World. God, I'm gonna have to cut so much of this out. And this is, in my opinion, the best way to experience the original Mario games, especially on a handheld. It was actually never released for the 3DS, so I had to go and use Ultimate SNES Injector or whatever. Oh wait, I already put that in. Yeah. So I had to use that to go ahead and put that on here, and it runs smooth. And again, I don't know why Nintendo just doesn't do it in the first place. Like, come on, Nintendo, people would eat that up. As well as Super Mario Kart, Kirby's Dream Course, Mother 3, and now we're getting into like all the GBA stuff because we got Metroid Fusion, Minish Cap, Amazing Mirror, or Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, and Fire Emblem: The Blazing Blade. And again, recommend these, and being able to play GBA games natively is super cool, so highly recommend if you can. And then, with that said, moving on, we got some Nintendo DS games. This runs through the Twilight menu, and I use an app. Again, I forget the name of it, but I'll probably put it either on screen or in the description now if you're interested, which creates little icons on the menu so you don't have to boot into Twilight menu, then find it, and then dig through all the files and find the NDS file, and boom, you can now play your Nintendo DS game. It puts a little icon right on your right on the main menu, and boom, you can play Nintendo DS games flawlessly because it's not emulation. Which, little fun fact for everyone at home, the 3DS isn't powerful enough to emulate a Nintendo DS, but it can play Nintendo DS games because there's a built-in DS with all the hardware. It's so confusing, but it's hilarious because yeah, you cannot emulate a DS on a 3DS. It's just not powerful enough. Don't even ask me how that's possible. Again, there's probably more documentation online, and I'm most likely not the guy to ask about that. So, moving on, we got plenty of the Pokemon games. Pokemon Black version 2, again, one of my favorites. Some of the Mario games, we got Mario 64 DS, Mario Bros, New Super Mario Bros, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, as well as Mario Kart DS. And just a handful of Pokemon games that either are from my childhood or I wanted to play back then, and now that I have this, I can play them all. Moving on, we now have Sega Genesis games. I believe I only have 2 Sega Genesis games. Yeah, I only got 2 Sega Genesis games, being Sonic & Knuckles and Sonic Spinball. Again, I used an app that creates fan-made virtual console titles, and again, it all runs smooth and pretty flawlessly. These virtual console titles, quote unquote, aren't like the official ones. These are technically ran through an emulator, but it's not important. You don't need to like install anything external, but technically, yes, it does run through an emulator. We now have the fan-made port of Friday Night Funkin'. It's a rhythm game. I don't know. It's a fun mobile game, or it's a fun rhythm game to take on the go, and it definitely beats some of the mobile rhythm games that I have, such as Archaea and Archaea. Yeah, I pretty much only play Archaea. And a couple of other ports, such as Doki Doki Literature Club, FNAF 1. This is the Undertale in the Love Engine demo, and this guy right here, Persona 4. This right here is, I use the Game Boy Injector to create a virtual console title of the Game Boy D-Make for Persona 4, which is really cursed to say the least. In fact, I do want to kind of show this off because of just how hilariously weird it is playing P4 on a friggin' DS. Like, it runs perfectly, and it runs just like it's running on an actual Game Boy, so again, if you can, also I recommend playing this. We'll leave a link in the description to play the D-Make, because credit where credit is due, and let me just say, it is just so weird playing this game on a DS, let alone a Game Boy. And in fact, hang on, future me, turn down the music for a second. Even a chiptune remake or remix of the Velvet Room theme. Don't know how well that's being picked up on camera, so I'm hoping it is. Maybe I can do some movie magic to get it more clear. But again, just hearing that is so charming and is incredible. Highly recommend playing it. Link in the description. Moving on to most of the homebrew applications that are basically just the necessities. Of course, you need emulators, NES, SNES, GBA, as well as N64. N64 emulation runs okay. It's playable, definitely not perfect, but I don't know. N64 is definitely the bane of emulation, so it definitely functions, but it's definitely not perfect. And I haven't tested a whole lot of games with it, but I can definitely tell you that the original Paper Mario functions, but it's definitely not perfect. Moving on, we have the Homebrew Launcher and FBI. These are the 2 main apps you're going to be using if you do end up modding your 3DS. Animon Theme Manager, I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly. That's how you get all your custom themes and all that jazz. Twilight Menu++. That is basically the Nintendo DS homebrew brought over to the 3DS to mod the 3DS's. Again, it's just a lot of different levels. Highly recommend looking at some other people's guides and stuff like that, or not really guides, but tours if you want more details on Twilight Menu. PKSM, this is basically just a portable version of PK Hex, which is a Pokemon save editor. And it works really well. It definitely gets the job done. Highly recommend if you're into Pokemon and kind of want to just mess around with Pokemon games on the go. I believe you can customize everything up to Gen 7, up to USUM here, so. This right here is a save manager for, well, obviously 3DS games. and some other things as well, such as ripping cartridges and doing some other stuff. You can pretty much do all that through God Mode 9 now, so I still don't know why I keep this. I never use it. I just use God Mode 9 normally. This is a checkpoint. I believe also another save manager, but this is mainly just used for cheats. Boot and TR CFW selector. This is basically a capture card for the 3DS. It allows me to capture footage wirelessly without having to install an actual capture card. So I can stream footage to my PC via my 3DS's IP address and a Wi-Fi network, and I'm able to capture footage that way. I definitely wanted to do something with this for a while, but it's kind of difficult because if I wanted to capture 3DS footage, I would mostly just use Citra, which is a perfectly usable emulator. So I would, again, just probably take the dumped cartridges, put them on my PC, and play it that way, as well as even the save file if I wanted to. So again, not really a whole lot of reason to have this, and except if you don't want to emulate. And also it's just useful to stream to friends as well, because you don't really get the full 3DS experience streaming it to friends. Moving on, we have Universal Updater. This is how you can update and install your 3DS homebrew apps and some games, as well as some fan games and other things. Again, fairly useful. And again, it usually just comes with the 3DS modding process, so nothing special here. Same here with Luma 3DS. This is just how you update the Luma custom firmware. Again, nothing special, it's just an updater, but it's nice to have. And then we have system settings, both Flipnotes, Flipnote Studio 3D, and the DS version. And we just have the normal jazz as well. So, and then we also have RetroArch, which again I'm still messing with, but hey, it's here for when I want it. So yeah, that is for the most part everything on my Homebrew 3DS. It's not like the ultimate insane Nintendo 3DS. Red arrow here, red arrow here, red arrow everywhere. It's quite humble. It's quite humbling, actually. There's, again, there's just not a whole blot here. I'm actually gonna move these two icons around. Yeah, that looks better. And yeah, it's, again, nice and just kind of a cozy little console that I can do whatever I want with. Before I end off this video, I did want to go ahead and maybe show off some of the homebrew apps that I have quickly, and then I'll probably leave it here because the video's almost already 20 minutes long and I don't want to edit all that. But for the most part, it is just some normal stuff. 3DS Shell, or 3D Shell, technically it's how it's pronounced according to the developer. This is just a file manager. It allows me to move files, delete files, etc. on my 3DS without having to plug the SD card back into my PC. CTGP, which is the launcher and updater, but this is a homebrew version. I believe if you get CTGP 7, it comes with both. And just a couple other things. I don't know why Daedalus X64 is here, because I already have it on the home menu, but whatever. Fast play coins, very easy way to just get 300 play coins if you're doing that. Definitely makes it so you don't have to, like, you know, go outside or exploit it somehow. FBI, which is your CIA installer. A head tracking demo, which is kind of cool. It shows how the 3DS tracks your face, or at least the new models. The old 3DS does not do that. As well as just a handful of other things like Leaf Edit and Menu Hacks Manager, as well as the NDS Forwarder Generator. That is how you can create forwarders for DS ROMs, which is really cool. And besides that, again, just some basic other stuff like a Smash Amiibo cheat tool, SNES emulator that I still haven't gotten rid of, and a Terraria save editor. So with that said, that is everything I got. Thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a comment and tell me what you thought, kind of give some helpful tips maybe, or even just I don't know, strike up a conversation. Say hey. I tend to respond to pretty much every comment, so go ahead, and if you have questions, do not be afraid to ask. And I don't know, that's all.